Good evening and welcome to ClausenWorld. Have you ever heard that saying, beat the summer heat? Well, I'm going to show you some stuff in my garden that did not win that fight with the summer heat. So, join me in the garden. Hey everybody, welcome to ClausenWorld. Sorry about that. I am not outside just yet. It is still early in the day. The dog wanted to go out, but I wanted to show you guys something that I've been keeping an eye on for the past week. I thought my plant was just exhibiting signs of heat stress. It gets plenty of water, but I've been watching it and I do believe that it has succumbed to the vine borer. And so that's going to come out today, but I wanted to show you all what happens in the garden. Sometimes things work out and sometimes they do not. Now that squash plant is my red kiri squash, and as soon as I go out I will show you what I have harvested off of that red kiri squash, as well as what I'm going to harvest off of the plant before I pull it out. But it's currently 95 degrees and the weatherman said it feels like 102. So I have not been out today. I'm working from the house today, but the dog decided that she wanted to interrupt my day. So I figured I'd get up and show you all what it looks like when your squash succumbs to the nasty vine borer. This is my calendula plant. Depending on where you're from, you might pronounce it calendula. It is struggling big time with the heat. What I have found with this plant, because I've grown this plant in a different country, is that this plant really does like a little bit of a cooler climate than where it currently resides. And so it has been struggling quite a bit since the heat kicked in Texas. And what I'm doing now is just trimming it back. You can see that a lot of the blooms have died off. I do have new blooms coming up. Can you tell right there? This right here is a new bloom that's going to be popping up. But I do have some blooms that sputtered out, that didn't really come to much. And I have blooms that have just gone over already, and I've collected the petals. I've been collecting petals for my calendula salves and calendula balms. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to collect seed. It's that time of the year where it is producing a lot of seeds, and I'm so excited about that because I love this plant. This is a medicinal plant if you're not aware of it. And what I will do is I will put some reading information for you in the description box below, because I don't like to tell people about the product that I'm showing or the plant that I'm showing. I like to give you an opportunity to take a look at it for yourself. That way you don't have to worry about believing everything I or someone else says about it. You'll be able to get all that pertinent information for yourself, and you may even learn something that maybe that person actually didn't even bring up that might be a benefit to you. But I can tell you what I do use this for. I have family members that have eczema and different skin issues, and so this is really good for eczema. It's really good if you've got scratches. Like I think I mentioned in a previous video, I always seem to come in the house with a scratch or some kind of issue with my skin because I've rubbed up against something and it's caused my skin to welt up, or I'm itching because of a mosquito bite. I use this balm that I make out of this plant for that purpose. But again, I'm going to put some information in the description box below for you so that you can read up on it yourself. Now I'm going to show you in just one second. As you see me clipping, I am clipping off the flower all the way down to the joint of the flower. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing here. I may have to move you guys in a little bit closer if I can. but let's see if I can find it. Here we go. This plant right, this one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see how it has branched off, and it has 3 flower stalks right there. Let's just say one of these flower stalks dies. I take it down to where it's joining another one. And this one here, I didn't take it down far enough, but I just clip it off. I take all the dead pieces off just like that, and I've got a bucket down on the ground, and I just toss it in the bucket. Now, as you can see, some of the leaves here have dried up. I will be pulling those off just to kind of give the plant a little bit of relief, but right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to cut off a lot of these spent flowers so that the new flowers that are coming along, I'm sorry, I'm probably in the way. The new flowers that are coming along will be able to come up and bloom. If you take the dead flowers off, it will give the plant a chance to spring up more flower heads. So that's all I'm doing right now, is I'm just taking these spent flowers down. I'm collecting the seeds, and I'm going to show you how I collect these seeds. All right, I hope you guys can see. This is just a plastic bag that I'm keeping my seeds in. This is a seed head, a flower head. All those itty bitty little individual brown little things right there, those are seeds. They come in various different shapes and sizes. Now those are seeds there, those little green pieces, but they're green, they're not ready yet. So I'm not going to worry about collecting those. This little spike here that's kind of whitish, greenish, yellowish, that is also a seed, but it's not ready. So I'm going to take the seeds that are smaller, that are brown, that are closer to the center of the flower. So I'm just going to place the head inside the bag and just pick it off. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm just picking them off into the bag, the seeds that are ready to go. And this particular flower is so interesting to me because the seeds come in several different sizes. It's amazing. But that's all there is to it for this plant. I'm going to leave that seed on there, those few seeds, because they are not good to replant. They are not mature. And that's basically all I'm doing. I'll show you again. This one, let's see, there might be some seeds in that one. Kind of hard for me to see, but I'm just going to take that head, squeeze it between my fingers, and drop it into the bag. Let me get another one so that you guys can maybe see it better. Let's see if I can grab another flower head from off the plant. Let's see. Let me get a couple for you all. Let me get into this plant. I'm trying to be gentle and not knock the seeds out of the flower and not disturb any of the new flowers coming up. All right. So here's a good example. Those are all seeds. And I'm just going to take the head and pull it just like that so you guys can get, sorry, there's a fly running around. You guys can get a better look. I'm just going to pull the seeds off just like that. And there you have it. Those are seeds right there. Right there. Those are all seeds. And of course a little bit of plant matter, but that's okay. So I'm going to take these seeds and I'm going to place them inside of the bag. Now these are pretty rough gloves. These gloves are meant to be used with my mulch, but I'm not mulching today. But I plan on doing some serious pulling out of some squash, so that's why I got my thick gloves on. But here are some more seeds. These really are not, these aren't mature. You can see all the green, only a tiny bit of tan, so these aren't mature. So I'm going to put these in the bucket because these are going to go in the garbage. But that's a little seed right there. I'm going to put that in the bag just like so. But that's all I'm doing. I'm just collecting some seed. So let's move on to something else in the garden. This is that pink zinnia that was on the table that got way too much sun and it sort of kind of fried. So I harvested seed heads off of this and took it and put it down here in some shade to see if it'll bounce back like that mum did. It's still hanging on. These flowers are still alive. So I'm just going to continue to water it and leave it be. The sun is very bright out today. I'm out at a time that I would normally not be out. But this is one of my cornflowers, and it has done an awesome job this season. I am taking seed heads off of it because it's time. You saw me just cut that one off, but yeah, it's that time of the year where I feel like I am cutting seed heads off and harvesting seed like a madwoman. But this is the cornflower. I hope you guys can see it. It's still hanging on, and I've already taken off as many of the seed heads as I possibly can, and this is going to go over here pretty soon as well. But I'll keep harvesting until there is nothing more for me to harvest, and I will sow seeds back in this pot for next. This is my other variety of cornflower. It is so pretty. It has more of an orange flower on it. When it opens, the petals are yellow. It's really weird. So I don't know, this one, maybe there's a cross-pollination or something, but it's really weird. It's beautiful orange flaming flowers, but when this petal first came open, all the petals were yellow. So I'm excited to take seed off of this one. I'm going to put this particular one in a different bag because this is a different species, but this one is still alive, still hanging on, and I can't wait to harvest seed from it. The cornflower that I harvested seed from, which is right over here in this bag, I have a whole bag full. That's what this cornflower is. It's the Baja Burgundy. I saved this plant tag from last year, and I just put the seeds in a bag. I've been harvesting these seeds, and these seeds, if you've never harvested cornflower, they are really pokey, and so I can't harvest these without some type of aid. What I usually do is, it's so warm out here, you guys. I'm out here at a time of day that I would normally not be out here, but I am trying so hard, like I mentioned, to harvest these seeds. So what I normally do is I just take a bag like so, and I have a bunch of them in here, as you guys can see. I just cut them, put them in the bag like that. So now what I do is I take a pair of gloves that have a really tough, thick coating on them, and that way I'm not getting poked by the seed heads. And I take the seed head off of the stem like so. I take my shears, close them up, and then I take the bag, hope you guys can see, and I just run the tip of my shears along that seed head. And I don't know if you guys can see how the seeds are popping out, but I don't do this with my fingers because, again, this seed head is very prickly, and I just don't feel like that's the best use of my fingers. And you can do it if you don't have an aversion to it and it doesn't bother you. You can pull them out with your gloves. I just feel like this particular plant, because these seed pods are so pokey, and as you can see, can you see that? See how pokey that is? It's best to do it with some form of implement. So I just use my shear tip and just gently run it along the head and just take them out like that. So I have a lot more to do. I'm not going to have you all sit here and watch me do that, but that is my cornflower. Did I say it wrong? Yeah, I did. Cornflower. All right, let me do the rest of these and bag them up so that I can finish with my my goodness, seed saving for the year. I can't talk today. Here is a bonus. I felt like maybe you all didn't see exactly what I was doing, so I came inside because it's cooler in here, and I have my shear tip and I have my gloves. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to try to do this in a way that you all can see it. But again, this seed pod is very, very pokey. I mean, it feels like porcupine. Well, I've never felt a porcupine, but I've seen one and it looks really pokey. So what I do is I take my seed head and I just gently coax those seeds out just by rubbing it a little bit. And the seeds pop everywhere, which is why I do it inside of a bag. That way I don't lose my seeds. And they're popping all over the place, but that's okay. We're gonna try to make sure we don't. And once I get to a point to where I can see a little bit, like right here, you can see where the seeds were in the actual flower head. Once I can see that, then I know that I've roughed it up a little bit and there's a space in there where I can actually now use my glove. So then I take my glove and hope you guys can see, and I rub it. I just rub it like that. Just rub it and have it release those seeds. I hope you guys can see. It's not the easiest of things to show you all, but I'm rubbing like this back and forth, back and forth. You can see those seeds are popping out. And I'm even trying to pull the seeds, but it doesn't really come out when you pull it. Not that well. I mean, it does come out, but not well. And I feel like maybe if I pull it, I might be dislodging that seed head somehow. So I like to rub mine, but you do it however you feel. If you have some cone flowers, you do it however you feel is best for you. And I just rub mine like this. And I know it's hard to see, and I do apologize. I'm trying to give you guys the best example, but this is how I harvest it. I'm just rubbing it against my glove like so. And I do this inside of the bag. That way I'm not losing any seed heads. I'm not losing any seeds. And I'm collecting everything I can. And then and it's kind of hard because my gloves are really bulky. But once I get it down to where it looks like I've gotten all the seeds out, then I take a look at my mass of mess. There are seeds in there. They look like little grains of nothing. I mean, it looks like absolute nothing. But that is the seed. I hope you guys can see. That is the seed right there. And it looks like grains of nothing on the paper. You probably wouldn't even give a second look to this, but these are the seeds right in here, right in there. And I just take this seed head. Once I feel like I've rubbed out all the seeds, I take it and I just throw it out. I throw it into my flower bed just in case there's 1 or 2 seeds still left in here. I throw it into the flower bed because I always leave seeds behind in every house I live in, and this will be no different. So I'm just going to put this to the side and keep going because I have so many more excuse me, I have so many more heads to do. But that is me collecting the cone flower seeds. So I hope that's a better and easier view for you all.
My red curry squash has seen better days in the garden, so it is time to take it out.
I was battling squash bugs, so I did not get a chance to show you what I harvested off of the red curry squash vines. I pulled these 2 a couple of days ago because they actually had dried on the vine, and this one had fallen off onto the ground. This one was hanging on by a thread, and this is the one that I cut off today. As you can see, the stem was it was drying, and these are the 3 red curry squash that I pulled off of that poor vine that had died. I had a lot of squash bugs. I mean, tons and tons of squash bugs. So I didn't show you all this, but this is the popcorn, the strawberry popcorn that I pulled about a week or so ago, and I don't have many, but they're in here drying as well. So this is what I have today. Disregard the onions. You all saw me pull onions. My onions have been in the shed drying, and if you look over there, I have been stringing my onions up, as well as the garlic that I pulled out of the garden. So this is my makeshift drying station, and this is today's harvest, the red curry squash, saved from the squash bowl.